welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Today we are doing a video where I take the opportunity to show off all the lovely vintage goodies I found in my local charity shops. It has been a hot minute since we did one of these videos because I just didn't find anything. There was literally just nothing. Just, you know, tumbleweeds blowing through my charity shops. No vintage goodies in sight. Literally, I don't think I bought anything from like December until March, like not a single thing. People are always surprised when I find so many stuff. They all put your little comments saying it's magic and how do I do it. Truth is, sometimes with shopping for secondhand stuff, sometimes you just don't find anything for ages. But thankfully, my luck has turned around and I have a big old pile of vintage that we can go through. So let's not waffle, let me just show you what I found. So we will start off with like dresses and stuff. I do believe that all the clothes that I've bought are all from the same charity shop this time around. Bought on like a few different ventures, but all I believe from Emmaus, which if you've watched any of these videos before, you know I buy a lot of stuff from them. So yeah, I think this is all from the same place, but on a few different trips. And there's an overarching kind of 60s and 70s vibe going on with everything I have bought. So let's just dive in. First up, I bought this diaphanous floaty floralness. This is a little 1970s like summery little day dress. It's got a very like 30s 40s vibe with these little like puff sleeves, and this kind of bust always makes me think of like 30s 40s style. I do think sometimes this bust can look like a little bit frumpy. It's like a little bit, I don't know, it's just something like a little bit, it's what the Queen would wear, you know, what the Queen was wearing for quite a long time there, and there's something just a little bit frumped. Not saying the Queen is frumpy, but she is like 90, so she has had her frumpy moments. But overall, very glam. But yeah, other than that, it's got this really pretty, floaty, very spring-like fabric. This one was £8, which is kind of a lot considering it is completely sheer and just like one floaty bit of fabric. There's just something really like pretty, vintage vibey about it. And so yeah, I don't really have like the right slip to wear under it. It's a bit of an issue, but I'll make it work, So it's just a fun, floaty, spring moment, which is definitely the vibe at the moment. I feel like spring is finally here. We have sunshine, I can hear birds singing, flowers are everywhere, and I think this is definitely fitting for the time of year. So that was the first one I found in a very long time, so I was very happy to spot that one. I then have a little dress which is kind of the oldest bit that's here. But also kind of not, because it is a 1950s dress, but I do believe it's had a lot of faffing about with it, and a lot of what we see in terms of the shape I believe is actually more 80s, but I'm 100% certain that this fabric is 1950s. It is this heavy cotton which has been printed with like different coloured carriages with flowers in. I'm just certain the fabric is 1950s. Not only is the print very much that kind of, not quite abstract, but you know what I mean, they had all those like fun prints in the 50s and it's so fitting for that, but also the way the fabric feels. I mean, you get lots of people that are now remaking these 1950s printed cottons, but they just kind of feel different, which is not very helpful if you're here to learn how to buy vintage, but trust me, it just feels different. So yeah, 1950s fabric, probably originally a 50s dress, but you can just tell looking at the sewing that it's had like 6 million repairs and reworks, etc. There's like whole sections where there's like janky stitching everywhere. So yeah, I think it's been through a lot, and something about the shape of this bodice, I think it might have been reshaped a little bit. Because it's not quite looking as 1950s, it's looking a little bit more 80s. With like these little pleats being added in, and you can really tell that they've been added because the stitching just isn't the same everywhere. So yeah, it's been through some things, but I couldn't turn down a beautiful 1950s print. So I bought it kind of thinking, well, I'll fix it up and I'll make it better again, because yeah, some of it is like super jank. But yeah, she's been sitting there, I haven't done that yet. But it's pretty fabric, right? Yeah, it was £6.50, which is not so bad. Yeah, really great fabric. Just needs a little bit, a few little tweaks to bring it back to peak condition. But you know what I'm like, literally no 1950s dress can be left behind, so I couldn't leave it there, I had to have it. Then the next 3 dresses I actually bought all at the same time. So did I need 3 dresses? No, but I bought them and they were all there right next to each other. They deserve to stay together. And it's kind of 60s, 70s, a little mini haul that I got on that day. First up we have this wonderfully psychedelically printed little kind of dirndl style dress. So it's like psychedelic orange, purple, blue, pink fabric. We then got a little lace up front and little poofy sleeves and a little bit of lace around the neck and bottom. I feel like a lot of people would look at this fabric and just think that is the most hideous thing ever, but it works. It's just so perfectly of that late 60s, early 70s kind of bohemian vibe. We've got the kind of Bavarian style shaping, but then that very 60s psychedelic style print fabric. It's just very, very of its era, which is something which I always love in my vintage clothing. And this one was again £8. It's just a cute little fun dress. And it fits me literally perfectly, so it was meant to be. And it is in perfect condition. None of these have like makers in, they've just got these little like cleaning labels, the early cleaning labels where it literally just says hand wash made in England. So yeah, that like dates it to the very, very end of the 60s into the start of the 70s, but no make at all, a very, very cute design. So little 1960s, 1970s dress, followed by another little 1960s, 1970s dress in another print which people think is hideous. My mum literally called this one hideous, which I thought was a bit mean, but I think it's adorable. This one is the exact same era, but this one is more in the slightly Edwardian style. So again we've got a psychedelic print, but this is in that so stereotypical 1970s colourway of brown and beige on brown and beige. So we've got this like paisley print with a high neckline, sort of puffed shoulder sleeves and like a tight wide cuff. And then we've also got these like lace cutout sections. So it's like strips of lace, but there's actually no fabric behind them. So the lace sections are actually sheer. So they're going down the sleeves and then again over the boobs. And I was kind of hoping it would like sit kind of here-ish, so that it would be like a cute side boob moment. But it actually is more like here, and it's like right on nip, and it's not a cute moment. So it does need a slip under it, but that's okay. I think it's cute, even if my mum thinks it's hideous. This is exactly the same little cleaning label, so it's probably made by the same person, but I have no idea who that is. And I think it's cute and very of its period. There is a matching belt, and I love the like shape of the skirt because I feel like it's just the right amount of poofiness for a short skirt. Sometimes when mini dresses are short and poofy, it ends up feeling like super short. You end up showing your butt, like it just poofs and shows your butt. But this is like just the right length for a 30-year-old lady like me to get away with. So yeah, I think it's really, really cute, and it has that like little baby doll feel, if you know what I mean, like in a cute way. When I was like 16, my like go-to outfit was like little mini dresses and white tights and black shoes, like a little China doll. And these couple of dresses really make me want to bring the white tights back. Like imagine this with like white tights, like little shoes. I feel like that's the vibe. It turns out you cannot get white tights anywhere anymore. Apparently they don't sell them anywhere. I looked, I couldn't find them. So if I find white tights, I'm bringing back that vibe. But that dress was again £8, and it's got perfect 1970s and Victorian China doll vibes. Why wouldn't you love that? I think that's a great mix. Then the third dress I bought on that day kind of also has the China doll vibes, I'm not gonna lie. It is a slightly later 1970s dress. I think this one's more like late 70s, start of the 1980s. And I definitely feel like in the early 90s, my mum was dressing me and my sister in kind of matching dresses like this. If you were like a late 80s, early 90s baby, I feel like you might know the types of dresses I mean that your mum was putting you in. Yeah, you know the vibe. Here it is. It's like so it's kind of like a Laura Ashley style dress. It's not Laura Ashley. It does have a label in, but it's just like a generic wash separately. UK 12, made in the UK. No actual make to that, but it's got this high Victorian style neckline with a little bit of lace. We've again got the little poofy sleeves, tight wrists again, and this time we've got this little like ruffle. Don't really know what you call this ruffle, but it's like a cowboy ruffle, if you know what I mean. A little cowbell ruffle. And it's all like in plaid or tartan, depending on your preference, with buttons down the front and then a little poofy skirt. Yeah, it's definitely got that like Edwardian vibe again. Like I say, it's very reminiscent of 1970s Laura Ashley dresses and like the prairie dress kind of vibe. Again, I kind of want to wear like white tights and shoes and look like a China doll in it. This one was £10. I don't know why it was a couple of pounds more than the other two, but it's very cute. All three kind of fit really well as well, which is nice. Yeah, this one's just like super wearable. You can put it with lots of stuff, so I'm pretty pleased with all three dresses I found on that day. That was clearly meant to be, after having found basically nothing for months. To get all three things all at once was a dream come true. I think all of those dresses I found in like March, April. Before then, literally like December, January, February, I only found one piece of vintage, just one, but it was a really good one, and it is a fabulous, again, late 1960s, early 1970s, suede and shearling coat. Was I wearing a 1970s shearling coat when I found this? Yes. Did that mean that I didn't need this one? No. I definitely needed this one. It's like the most perfect encapsulation of that whole kind of, just when like hippie chic was becoming like daily streetwear, if you know what I mean. Like it's just perfectly, again, of its era. So it's like dark brown, suedey velvety fabric with a massive big white collar and big white sleeves. There's like a little extra bit of detailing on the shoulders. It's still got its belt, which is pretty amazing considering there's no belt loops or anything to keep it together. I honestly don't think it had been worn very much by its original owner because it is in like pristine condition. The shearling is a little bit matted, but they always get a little bit matted, and other than that it's literally perfect with no mark on it. It's made by somebody called Harold Bookie, who I googled and couldn't really find much about. But I'm going to say it's made like 1969 to 1973 is my feeling. Be sure to correct me if you think I'm wrong, but that's what I'm going for. And again, it's just like the most perfect thing from this era, and it fits perfectly and it goes really well with the other dresses I bought. Yeah, I just love it. It was £20, so a bit more expensive than I normally spend, but for a coat, obviously, I don't even know. How much is a new coat these days? I feel like it's probably like £100 and something at least, depending on where you get it from. I don't know, I'm always like shocked by the price of clothes which are new, because I just never buy them anymore. I feel like a fancy coat would be pretty expensive. So £20 for like a pristine, wonderful piece of very of its period 1960s history. I didn't think it was too bad, and yeah, it does fit perfectly. So yeah, definitely didn't need more coats. I do have a separate wardrobe just for coats, and it is starting to overflow, but I did need this one, so she's here now. That was all the actual clothes. I then also have a few little accessories. I have dressed up a little belt. This is actually something a little bit older. This is a belt which I believe is actually Edwardian. So unlike the other bits which were kind of 1960s, 70s during Edwardian, this is actual Edwardian. So it's a little belt buckle. It was already on this velvet band. So it's one of these like slip buckles. I feel like, I don't know why, but I want to say they're like nurses buckles, but I'm not sure if that's actual, the correct terminology for them. But it's very kind of, this one's a little bit more ornate, but they're usually quite sort of Art Nouveau style, these belt buckles. You do see them at like antiques fairs and things, but I've never sort of seen one connected on an actual belt in a charity shop before. This one has some scroll work and some little swallows, and the band it's on is just a tiny bit too big for me, but will kind of stay closed with sort of overclothes and things. I just thought it was super pretty, fits in like a nice antique vibe outfit, and it was only £2.50, so I couldn't really turn it down. It's just like a nice little antique buckle and belt. One of the oldest things I've had to show you for a while, a little Edwardian belt buckle and yeah, belt. Then I have some handbags, starting with one of these like raffia 60s numbers. This one was £2.50 from a Zest to a part of St Elizabeth Hospice, and this is just a little like basic handbag shape, but it's one of the ones that's made out of woven raffia. I do have a white woven bag, but I didn't have a blue one, so since it was only £2.50, I figured I'll get a blue one as well. You do see these quite frequently. I think they were quite popular in the sort of 60s into the 70s. You do get some in the 50s as well, kind of across that whole period. These kind of woven bags, I think there were, a lot of people have them as like summer handbags. Particularly I've got like a white one, which seems to be quite common. White and blue seem to be the most common colours that you see, to be honest. But yeah, this one's quite like a nice large one, there's a lot of space in it. And it was just fairly cheap and in pretty good condition, so I grabbed it. What you do sometimes see with these raffia bags is that they've kind of been squished when they've been up in somebody's loft or something. Get a bit squished and then they never really regain their shape. So this one's still in pretty good shape and it was £2.50. So I grabbed it, a little vintage handbag moment. Then the other handbag I bought probably originally wasn't actually meant to be a handbag, but I'm going to use it as one anyway. It is a little metal cage. I think this is probably actually like packaging for maybe, I think at like Christmas with some like bath bombs or something in it. I don't know. I don't know if this was actually originally intended to be used as an actual handbag or if it was just supposed to be funky packaging or something. I did Google, I couldn't find anything similar that was meant to be an actual handbag, but that has never stopped me before. I was thinking what I might do is like sew up some little different coloured pouches to put inside so that way it kind of matches my outfit, whatever I am wearing. So I could have like a green lining, a pink lining, etc. And that could be pretty cute. But yeah, I just thought it might make for an interesting piece. And it was £2 from the St Elizabeth Hospice. Yeah. It's just a little metal box bag. I've got handbags made of wood and like bamboo, plastic, all sorts of things. So why not a metal cage? And that is everything that I got from the months of like November until April. So yeah, I was in a bit of a slump, but I think I did manage to find some nice things. Hopefully my slump is now over and I will find lots of lovely vintage bits, but you just never know what's going to happen when you are out looking in charity shops, etc. Sometimes you just don't find anything. I hope that if you go out charity shopping that you've had a lot more luck than I have, but hopefully you do like the bits that I ended up getting eventually. You have to let me know what you thought of each piece, if they were worth the wait, if there's anything that looks hideous on me and I should never wear again, obviously tell me that. But yeah, hopefully I'll be back a bit sooner next time. I'm still going out to my charity shops literally like every single day, so even if it takes me a while, I will be back with another haul eventually. In the meantime, I hope you're all doing well, and I'll hopefully see you all again soon. Bye everyone!